I tapped into a level of grief listening to some of those songs, especially Geology Day in particular leaps out, but that I don't know that I've ever felt, and grief in like the best way. I am so incredibly touched by this album, this experience. It's like ointment on the soul. It's tending to parts that are sensitive. It's tending to old wounds. It was a level of witnessing that I don't think that I've ever experienced. But to not look back in shame, but to look back in reverence of what was, and to the point of some of the songs, what we learned and who we became through the process. That there was something really holy and really sacred about this album. All right. It is quite early my time, but I got this rock and roll and I'm super excited. So, first listen of the Hummingbird's Tote. I don't know what to say. I mean, I do, and I just, oh, I'm overwhelmed and overcome, like in the best possible way. You have an uncanny and unbelievable gift of truly seeing people, and through your work, you help them to be seen. As I listen through that, I don't think I've ever felt so seen in the container of my marriage and divorce and, you know, everything that's transpired since, and seeing the good and then the rough and the good again. I don't think I've ever felt so seen in it in my life. I mean, some of it was the container you created when we spoke by Zoom, that I felt like I could, just share really, really transparently in a non-judgmental space. And we talked about a lot of different things, and I felt very seen and witnessed and held, there. Um, but then like listening to that conversation back via this beautiful album, it was a level of witnessing that I don't think that I've ever experienced, and definitely haven't experienced in the complexity, right? That was, my marriage, the complexity that was the divorce, the complexity that was the refriending each other. And man, it's just so it's such a gift. It's such an incredible, incredible, incredible gift that you are, and that you are to me, and that you are to the world. I was jotting down just a couple of things as it went. I didn't want to stop between the songs because I just wanted to do an initial first listen through. I tapped into a level of grief listening to some of those songs, especially Geology Day in particular leaps out, but that I don't know that I've ever felt, and grief in like the best way, the way that you frame it, which is like in just, the missing of the love, the unexpressed love, not grief for the bad things, but grief for the beauty that was there. Um, Listening to the story back, the story of Ryan and I can deeply feel into the love between us, the love that still exists, the love that you picked up on and so beautifully, like teased out into those songs. And it there's something really powerful about hearing your own story back to you, but in a way that isn't you telling you, it's someone else hearing the story and then being able to share back like what they captured and the way that they heard it because while I was listening through to that, I was connecting with deep truths, like deeper truths on some things. Um, just some of the lyrics and the way that I was like, wow, yeah, that's really true. You know what I mean? And I could just feel like soul level truths inside of those songs as I listened to. I mean, it's my own story, right? Like that's the story of Ryan and I, but I I connected with it on just such this really deep, powerful, incredible way as I listen, through this. I mean, one of the things that you said that I loved, which was there was like a gift in the leaving, It seems like, to the world or maybe on the surface, like leaving was the bad thing, right? But I feel like you really pointed out something profound, which is there was a gift in getting married, there was a gift in the staying, there was a gift in the leaving, there was a gift in the time apart, there was a gift in it coming back together that, it was all a gift, and sometimes that gift was wrapped up in a bunch of shit, obviously, but that it was all a gift. And so um it was so powerful listening to the remarks that I had written for Ryan that you fed back and then, changed him sort of into a love song for him, in the way that you transformed that. And it's really beautiful and creative. Um, but I'd never obviously heard it played to me because I had written it. And when I read it to you the other day, of course, my ears are hearing it, but it's a different experience for someone else to be like reading it back to you. And I laughed and I cried as I know that you saw in this, but um, I think that's the beauty of it, right? That there's tears inside the laughter. And Ryan was actually a really funny person, and I have many, 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 many of funny stories about Ryan. In fact, when I was helping to prepare for the funeral and they asked for stories, I was told that we couldn't share some of those, at church. They didn't think they were church appropriate. And it's not that they were bad or involved, like drinking or drugs or things. It's just Ryan did funny things, and maybe all of them aren't appropriate for church. But anyways, he was a funny guy, and we had a lot of laughter, between us, and a lot of love, as you saw and you so beautifully weaved through, all of these songs. Um, I loved the I love the way that some of the songs to me, they felt almost of like gospel in like the best way possible. Like that there was just such like a feeling of like reverence and a feeling of like just I almost can't articulate it quite yet. Like that there was something really holy and really sacred about this album. Not that my previous album wasn't holy and sacred, but this was so incredibly different, and I feel like it shows so clearly like the range and breadth of your creativity and your artistic expression. But I really yeah, I think that's the way I would describe it, that it was like holy, like and sacred. And I guess that's in part because as I connect to the deepest truth between Ryan and I, that was holy and sacred too. And I am so incredibly touched by this album, this experience. Um, the way that I see your work is that it's medicine for the soul. Um, there's something very powerful about being able to be witnessed and being able to be held in whatever is going on at any particular juncture of life, and you do that beautifully. And the way that you write your songs, the way that you take the raw content of a conversation and turn it into an album, what that becomes for me is it's like it's like ointment on the soul. It's tending to parts that are sensitive. It's tending to old wounds. It's tending to just the things of life, and it doesn't all have to be like hard. It can magnify, like in this case, the love between Ryan and I, the love that still, exists. I love the Hummingbird song. I love, love, love that. just Ryan's shifted forms, and that, those that have passed before us become our angels, right? And those that look over us while we're still here. So, um, yeah, there's so much deep truth in this album for me, about Ryan, about us, about his legacy. I really, really, um, I guess I'm just overly aware as we get to his death anniversary in a few days that, you know, all of those good parts of Ryan, and you pointed that out in the song about him fixing my grandma's remote. Uh, that's the stuff that I want to carry forward. That's how I want to experience his legacy, right? In the little things. Love that song. And then in his kindness and his love and the way that he showed up in the world, and how I can use that as a model or an example of how I too want to show up in the world, and it's such a beautiful reminder of who he was and who we were at our best together. And we certainly had high highs and low lows, um but to not look back in shame, but to look back in reverence of what was, and to the point of some of the songs, what we learned and who we became through the process. And I'm proud as fuck of our journey and who we became and who we are and who I am. And so, thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for bearing witness to a tricky part of my journey. Thank you for seeing Ryan, who you didn't even know, seeing our story, and so unbelievably beautifully and powerfully converting it into an album that is a legacy piece for him and us, but also deep medicine for me as well on my journey. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.